You're watching a production of South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
This high school activities championship event is conducted under the auspices of the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
And a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside the Barnett Center here in Aberdeen, South Dakota. We come to you live from the campus of Northern State University in our site for the next 3 days as we bring you the Boys B Tournament here on South Dakota Public Broadcasting. I'm JJ Hardigan, he's Steve Toom. We hope you're ready for a wild one. We've already had two exciting finishes and we haven't even gotten through our first day of the tournament yet. To kick it off, it was number 1 Faith taking on Hitchcock-Tulare, the number 8 team in this entire tournament. And it's the lower seed, Hitchcock-Tulare, to come up with the win, 54-40, in what was a major surprise to start the day. You see some of the scoring leaders on the score there, or on the board there. But Steve, as we look at everything, that Hitchcock-Tulare team really came out with a game plan in mind, and they executed it to perfection against a Faith team that honestly was surprised here on day one.
Yeah, Faith held far below their scoring average, averaging 68, only scored 40, and it was the pace of the game dictated by the Patriot guards. That was key for the Hitchcock-Tulare victory. Our second game of the day was simply an epic game.
Absolutely. You had Wolsey-Wessington coming into it, number 4 in this tournament, taking on number 5, Hanson. And it came down to the wire, but as you see there, the Beavers of Hanson coming away with a 1-point victory. What a performance from Taylor Nichols. A double-double, nearly had a 20-20 game, 28 points, 18 rebounds. He was a force to be reckoned with inside.
And when Lorenzo Williams fouled out, that spelled trouble for the Warbirds. So that's what happened this afternoon. Let's move on to tonight. Our first matchup has the Parker Pheasants coming in at the 7th seed, taking on the Tigers of White River. They're the number 2 seed in this tournament. They've only lost twice all year. The Parker Pheasants have Dave Fuller back at the helm after a 13-year absence. He took a hiatus. He led them to the tourney the last time they were here, and that was in 1998. The Parker Pheasants, there you see in the southeast part of the state, play a tough schedule. They ended up 17-6 on the regular season, and they are led by Zach O'Keefe and Zach Anderson. O'Keefe actually leads them in scoring at 19 points per game. Anderson, their main rebounder, at 7 points a game, and O'Keefe, who's looking to play college basketball, hasn't signed yet, but he also averages 3.5 assists per game. And the starting lineup for the Parker Pheasants has Ryan John at a forward, Zach Anderson, the junior, at a forward, Kelby Peters. His play will be key tonight. He's just a sophomore, along with Zach O'Keefe and Landon Lieberman, Bill Lieberman's son, who used to be the basketball coach. His son's a sophomore, and he's going to be a good one. Already a standout player as a sophomore at 13 points a game. Their opponent, well, everybody knows about the White River Tigers. This is their 10th year in a row at the tournament.
Yeah, and this is going to be kind of an interesting matchup. But the first 2 games there was really anybody's bet. You got to look at the 2 teams here at the top in White River and Langford, the 2 and 3 seeds in this tournament coming up tonight. I think those 2 teams have a real chance to win. As we look at this White River squad here on our Google Earth images and zooming in on the high school, you get a great view from up top. 21-2 overall on the season. Eldon Marshall, their head coach, they'll be wearing their purple and gold uniforms tonight. Justin Prue, 15.5 points per game this season. He's their big offensive leader. Nicholas Young inside, a great rebounder for this squad. Link Tucker, who averages just under 6 assists per game, is going to be facilitating this team. Tell you what, so this is about as balanced a squad in their starting 5 as you will find in this tournament. And the White River Tigers are ready to go, and you see they've got some size there inside as well. Link Tucker, a 6'4 senior, along with the 6'3 forward, and Nicholas Young, just a junior. Justin Folkers, a 6'9 senior, along with the 2 guards, Justin Prue and Justice Morrison. Some great lineups here today. Got to give the size advantage to White River, though, as they get get set to take on Parker in our 2 versus 7 matchup. We've done our job. Now it's time to turn it over to our public address announcer for today's starting lineups.
South Dakota High School Activities Association welcomes you to the session of the State B Boys High School Basketball Tournament. The South Dakota High School Activities Association, along with its corporate partners, Sanford Health, First Premier Bank Card, Farmers Union Insurance Agency, Billion Automotive, and the South Dakota Army National Guard wish the best of luck to all teams participating in these State B Boys Basketball Tournament games. Good sportsmanship is vital to all levels of athletics. That is why the South Dakota High School Activities Association has sponsored a statewide effort to promote good sportsmanship in our schools. Good sportsmanship stresses positive values that are so important in the development of our leaders of tomorrow. You can set an example by displaying good sportsmanship during these state tournament games. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise for the playing of our national anthem? This evening, the national anthem will be played by the Warner High School Pep Band under the direction of Sharon Schwan. Thank you, Warner Pep Band. Tonight's opening session, the first game will be between the Region 5 champs, the Parker Pheasants, and the Region 7 champs, White River Tigers. First, let's introduce the cheerleaders for the Parker Pheasants. Blair Reynolds, Lindsay Jones, Catherine Lieber, Danny Geis, Sammy Joe Menning, and Crystal Cook. The Pheasants are coached by Tiffany Weiler. And now the cheerleaders for the White River Tigers. Macy Farmer, Allison Green, Vanessa Marshall, Cassie Marshall, and Allison McBride. The Tigers are coached by Kayla Brown. And now let's introduce the Parker Pheasants. Number 2, Isaac Decker. Number 5, Shane Caston. Number 10, Chase McKinney. Number 12, Jaden Korthals. Number 14, Cody Knock. Number 30, Nathan Dahl. Number 33, Trey Christensen. And number 23, Connor Carlson. And now let's introduce the White River Tigers. Number 11, Russell Leader Charge. Number 14, Lucas Ironheart. Number 20, James Leader Charge. Number 22, Tommy Wilcox. Number 33, CJ Whitehat. Number 35, Jadis Morrison. And number 55, Kane Fairbanks. And now we will introduce the starters in alternating fashion. Starting at guard for Parker, number 1, Zach O'Keefe. Starting at guard for White River, number 5, Justin Prue. Starting at guard for Parker, number 22, Landon Lieberman. And starting at guard for White River, number 30, Justice Morrison. Starting at forward for Parker, number 4, Ryan John. And starting for White River, number 10, Link Tucker. Starting at forward for Parker, number 20, Kelby Peters. And for White River, number 45, Nicholas Young. Starting at forward for Parker, number 24, Zach Anderson. And starting at center for White River, number 50, Justin Folkers. The Parker Pheasants assistant coach, Corey Minarik. Head coach, Dave Fuller. And for White River, assistant coach, Jared Bowman. Head coach, Eldon Marshall. Officials for tonight's contest, Royce Wurtzer, Mark Logan, and Tim Steinwan. Let's get ready for some basketball. Here we go.
There's your starting lineups for tonight's matchup as we set the stage for this 2 versus 7 game. It's White River, the 2 seed, coming in with their 21-2 record on the year against number 7 Parker, who enters with their 17-6 mark. And as we've seen in our first 2 games, Steve, regular season totals don't necessarily matter once you get inside the Barnett Center here in March. It all depends on what you're able to do against your opponent here tonight.
White River does have the size advantage. Talking to Coach Fuller, says we don't want this to turn into a track meet. We need to score in the 40s and 50s. Eldon Marshall, he knows he's got a size advantage, plus his team has some great quickness as well.
The tip will go to the Tigers in white, and we are off and running here inside the Barnett Center on Northern State University's campus. I'm JJ Hardigan, he's Steve Toom. 4 quarters of basketball coming your way between these 2 squads. Parker in the blue uniforms tonight with the white and blue trim. And White River in their white uniforms with purple letters and yellow trim. And they started off on the right foot. A jumper there for Justin Prue, the 5'10 senior. And it's White River who leads early on 2-0.
Great elevation on the jump shot there by Prue, who's signed to play basketball at Mount Marty.
Parker will swing it around the perimeter. There's a definite size advantage today for White River, but this Parker squad, very athletic.
O'Keefe changed his mind at mid-jump there as Folkers came out to guard him on the switch. Folkers about a foot height advantage turnover.
That pass tipped away and into the hands of Prue, who drives inside the lane and now picks up his dribble. That pass off the fingertips of his teammate there. Nicholas Young recovers. And now foul, I believe, called away from the basketball. We'll have to see who this one's on.
This one's going to be on Landon Lieberman, the 5'10 sophomore.
Lieberman listed as a guard. Where's number 22? The foul on the ground. They get the quick inbound inside and the turnaround for Justin Folkers. Big 6'9" senior, I should say, with his first points of the tournament.
Folkers, one of the best big men in the state. Look at the speed.
Shot no good underneath, though, and rebounded by Justin Prue. He'll push it into the front court, going all the way in. Tries the bounce pass inside, and that into the hands again of Nicholas Young. 4 straight points for Young, and just like that, White River leading 6-0.
Well, this is not the start that the Parker Pheasants wanted. They'll need O'Keefe to score.
Shot high off the glass is in and out, no good. Another one and done here as the White River Tigers get back to work. Ball taken away, though, and going coast to coast is O'Keefe for the right-handed layup.
And we got a quick timeout called by the Parker Pheasants as O'Keefe comes up with a big steal and a desperately needed bucket for the Parker Pheasants. O'Keefe is just so lightning quick. This is a young man that's looking to play basketball at the next level, not signed with anybody yet, but he's listed at 5'9", and he's a small guy, but I tell you what, at the college level, you need that kind of speed to play. That was a great open court steal by Zach O'Keefe.
Well, just a bit of a slow start here in the early goings for Parker, and as we take a look at the team numbers here in the early going, Parker just 1 of 3 from the field, but that matters very little if they can turn it around here with a couple nice defensive stands. It's just a 2-possession game right now, and still a lot of time in here as both of these teams try to maybe shake off some early jitters, Steve. It seemed like early on in the afternoon session, you could just feel the energy inside this building with how loud the crowd was, how many people are in the crowd, and you got to wonder if maybe some of these young men are just getting acclimated to playing in front of such a large audience. Got to think a lot of these guys haven't played in front of more than maybe 500-600 fans a night, and then all of a sudden to come in here to a near-packed house in the Barnett Center, very stark contrast to what they're accustomed to.
I think the Tigers may be a little more experienced. This is their 10th straight tournament. A great drive by Folkers there. And they also play in the LNI tournament out in Rapid City. And White River, they've got the reputation. They've been in the championship game time and time again. They know what it's like to be in big pressure ball games. Parker, this is their first time in many years. Look at that fake.
Step back for O'Keefe. He had the shot on target, just a little soft on the release. White River 8-2 with the lead. Shot off the glass, no good, and 2 free throws on the way now for Justin Prue. He's going to be the main focal point offensively for this team. He brings the ball up. He's going to facilitate their big men inside, and a guy who can get to the free throw line often throughout the course of a game.
63% on the year for Prue, as he'll do most of the ball handling on the night for the White River Tigers.
First attempt is good.
Yeah, I think the bus driver can probably blindfold him, and he'll know the route to Aberdeen the number of times the White River has made the tournament.
Second attempt is good, 2 for 2, and White River out to an 8-point lead here in the early going.
White River, you look at their schedule up and down the line, they play a lot of Class A schools.
O'Keefe on the inside, looking for something, kicks it back out around the perimeter. He's open. Now drives, stops, nice pass inside. The shot off the glass is good. First points of the night for Zach Anderson, a 6-foot junior here for Parker.
That was a good play by O'Keefe, and Zach Anderson, he is the state high jump champion in Class B as the Tigers commit the turnover.
That's the type of turnaround that Parker needs. They are down by 6. It all takes is one mental mistake, and these Parker kids can get right back into it. The Pheasants have some 3-point shooters out there. They are 0 for 1 from long distance so far today, but O'Keefe, you see, trying to size up the defense. Beautiful crossover and the bucket. Nice move there by O'Keefe.
That was just an excellent play by O'Keefe, the killer crossover.
Drive inside now from the big post man, Justin Folkers, the 6'9" center. He's the tallest that we've seen of the first 4 teams in this tournament. Very well could be the tallest player in the Class of B at the tournament.
Timeout on the court.
Timeout, ref!
Immediate timeout on the floor with 4:37 left to go. White River with the lead over Parker. We'll be back with more from the Class B tournament in Aberdeen after this. Stay tuned. This is South Dakota Public Broadcasting. Back inside the Barnett Center as we continue on with our first quarter of action. 10-7 your score. White River with the early lead. And they will have the ball out of the timeout. O'Keefe, or correction, Justin Prue, I should say, at the top of the key. 3 from the corner on the way is off the mark. The putback, though, is good. Justin Folkers coming away with a bucket inside, and he's got 4 points already on the afternoon. Or in the evening now, I should say.
Make that 6 points. They just updated the scoreboard here, and he just did everything fundamentally sound. Kept the ball over his head, just put it right back up and in. Didn't give those shorter players a chance to swat it away.
3, no good. Rebounded by the Tigers. 1 and done basically every time down if that thing doesn't go through. The White River Tigers capitalizing and really using their size to their advantage. Beautiful pass inside. Floater no good, off the rim. And there's the situation, Steve, where you would have liked to see the young man just simply kiss it off the glass.
Yep. Just a little off the mark, and a nice rebound by Zach Anderson, the junior. Into the game, number 14, Cody Knock now in the ball game for the Pheasants.
Tell you what, O'Keefe has got a killer crossover, and he was just off the mark with the 3. Back to work here for Parker as the Pheasants look for something inside, but again, these twin towers for White River really gobbling up the interior, but a nice pass and a nice finish from the baseline that time for Cody Knock, the 6'2" junior center, who gets his first points of the tournament. Nice pass inside again. The shot off the glass, no good. Put back, kicked away, but a foul as Folkers will go to the free throw line for the first time tonight.
Yeah, just tough to keep that young man off the board. Foul, 14 foul on Parker, and that's going to be on Kelby Peters.
First attempt is good from the line.
That one ate a lot of iron, but it did fall.
Second attempt on the way. Folkers goes back to the stripe. Release is good. 3:08 left to go in your opening quarter here in Aberdeen. 14-9, White River with the lead. Ball in O'Keefe's hands in the right wing. He looks inside, now wants to set up the offense. Nice crossover again. The floater off the glass, no good. Tipped and kept alive by Parker. O'Keefe up to the top of the key. Pheasants are looking for something here. Nice bounce pass inside. He caught the defense sleeping, and a pump of the fist for Cody Knock.
Nice play again by Knock. Just hanging out along the baseline, right outside the paint. Great dribble penetration, and he's just waiting for that pass to come to him, and he's finished strong for the Pheasants twice in a row.
3 from the left wing is good, and knocking it down. Justice Morrison, the 5'10" sophomore guard, getting his first points of the tournament. Spin move for O'Keefe. And a drive inside, blocked away there by Folkers. He went in, but Lieberman had nowhere to go. O'Keefe with a steal now for the Pheasants. He's got 2 defenders to beat, slows it down, splits them, jump stop, and gets fouled as he tried to go down. I believe they're going to say he was in the act of shooting, and so 2 free throws coming up.
Indeed, and that foul will be on Justin Prue, and that is his first. O'Keefe so very, very quick.
At times you wonder if he's making maybe one move too many, but his athleticism out there and obviously his confidence in his dribbling kind of sets him apart from the rest of the pack as he makes his first there.
He averages 3.6 steals per contest.
Bit undersized at his position as well for a senior, but at 5'9", his speed and elusiveness makes him a very valuable asset here for this Parker Pheasants squad.
Well, he's the man that makes things go for the Pheasants.
Nice little fadeaway turnaround, no good, and a rebound underneath for Cody Knock. And a potential momentum shifter here now in just a 4-point game in the first quarter.
I tell you what, Cody Knock, since he's come into the ball game, Parker's playing better.
Minute 30 left to go as O'Keefe crosses over, now spins at the free throw line, stops his shot, no good. Quick pass into the front court. Dangerous pass inside, but when you've got a 6'9" post player like Justin Folkers, you can take some of those dangerous passes, and he was able to just get up above everybody else and bring it back down.
Yeah, right now Parker doesn't have an answer for Justin Folkers inside.
3 on the way, no good. A little short off the front of the iron. That ball tipped and taken away, though. Parker's Landon Lieberman gets it. Shot off the mark. Anderson couldn't get it to go, and now White River pushing it into the front court. Under a minute left to go. Tigers on the drive, and a foul with 2 free throws coming up.
Nice drive by number 10, Link Tucker. It's the first foul on Cody Knock. 15 foul.
Free throws on the way for the right-hander as he steps up to the line. The release. Off the backside of the iron, no good.
Tucker struggled at the line this year, just 46% for the 6'4" senior. Averages a little over 11 points, 5.5 rebounds a game.
He does get his second, though, and it's a 7-point game. 3-possession lead here at the moment for White River. 40 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. Pheasants with the ball, and O'Keefe dribbling past the defender. He goes all the way in, floats it off the glass, and nice little alley-oop play there to get it to Zach Anderson. You mentioned he's got some leap ability. Went up high to get that one.
I think 6'4" is what he cleared in the high jump last year as a sophomore at the Class B track meet. That was in Sioux Falls.
So basically he'd be able to jump over Link Tucker, who's got the ball right there at the half-court line.
Do the Fosbury flop over him. I don't think he wants to try that tonight, though.
5 seconds left to go. 5-point game. 3 from the right wing is good, and holding it up for good measure, Justin Prue, as our first quarter comes to an end. 23-15, White River with the lead. We'll take a timeout and come back with more from the Barnett Center in Aberdeen as our coverage of the Class B tournament continues after this on South Dakota Public Broadcasting. Back in Aberdeen, here's a look at our last second shot before the quarter came to an end, and a beauty there to give White River the 23-15 lead. We are back to action here inside the Barnett Center. Once again, I'm J.J. Hardigan, voice of the Sioux Falls Canaries, along with South Dakota Public Broadcasting Steve Toom, joining you for some Class B boys basketball action. Parker trailing out of the initial first quarter break there, but with the ball. Dangerous passes, Anderson secures it. And the Pheasants getting back to work here now. O'Keefe trying to restore some order. Crosses over between his legs, splits it, goes above the big 6'9" defender. Shot was no good, though. And it'll go out of bounds into the hands of the Tigers.
First quarter stats, White River shooting 62% from the floor, 8 of 13. Parker 6 of 16 for 38%.
23-15 your score. It's an 8-point advantage for White River. They're trying to make it double digits. 3 from the top of the key is good. Knocking it down, Justin Prue, the 5'10" senior. Off to a good start here so far tonight. He's in double figures with 10 points.
Yeah, that's that inside-outside combo that White River has. Nice scoop pass.
Beautiful no-look pass, and Parker is going to need a lot of that deceptiveness today against these big post players. Keep them on their heels as much as possible.
Cody Knock with 6 points. We got a foul on the floor.
The leading scorer for White River right now is Justin Folkers, who has 10 points after the first quarter. He got fouled. Will not be in the act of shooting, and so Folkers, who needed to get the uniform adjusted there for a moment, gets back to the baseline and will trigger it for the Tigers. 3 from the top of the key on the way is off the backside of the iron. No good, but an offensive board. 3 is good. Justin Prue with the dagger and a nice little ball fake to get open there after the initial head fake.
That was sweet. 13 now in the game for Justin Prue. I love the head fake.
O'Keefe going inside. Nice little move in midair, but didn't really get much on it. Trying to get past the defender that time, and now going the other way, all the way in for the layup. Nicholas Young, and a timeout on the floor called by Parker. They want to talk things over before this one gets out of control.
Great run here to start period number 2 for the Tigers of White River. Get you an update from the AA tournament. First quarter score late in the first quarter. Lincoln leading Watertown 17-9, and of course they're not started yet out West River. In the second game this afternoon, it was Littlewood beating Clark Willow Lake 60-54. So you have Little Wound set up to take on Aberdeen Central. Here's the three-pointer from the top of the key by Prue. Nothing but the bottom of the net there. This guy is a sharp shooter.
You could see the body language there from Zach O'Keefe, almost exasperated after allowing the three to go over him. When the Parker Pheasants right now trying to figure out exactly what they need to do to get back in this game. Size has been an advantage for White River so far today, and they're just making more shots at this moment than Parker. 11 of 17 from the field thus far compared to the Pheasants' 7 for 19 day at this point.
This White River team can score a ton of points. They average 79.5 points a game. They give up 52 on defense. Parker scores 60.5 points per game, and Coach Fuller said, hey, we got to keep this game in the 40s and 50s. White River going to score a lot more than that if they keep going at this pace. O'Keefe's in trouble.
Parker's only scored 2 points here so far in the second quarter. They've been outscored 8-2 in this second quarter. 6:08 left to go, driving inside. Tough shot, getting caught a bit too far underneath the rim was Landon Lieberman, the 5'10 sophomore, but he's going to be going to the line here for 2 after drawing some contact.
It's only the second team foul on the Tigers. That's on Justice Morrison, his first, 5'10 sophomore.
6:07 left to go here in the opening half as the free throw is no good. Lieberman couldn't get it to go. He remains scoreless here thus far today, and here's a look at the replay. Tried to get between the two defenders, drew some contact from both sides. And his second attempt, well short. 0 for 2 this trip around.
Yeah, barely drew iron.
6 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. Tigers with the lead and the ball. They get it into the left wing. Lost the handle for a moment, and Tucker would go to the ground, and O'Keefe might have taken a forehead to the right leg. He comes up a bit lame, favoring his knee. They're going to give him a chance to walk it off. I'm sorry there, Steve.
That's right. Good sportsmanship there by Justin Prue, who helped him back to his feet. O'Keefe's going to have to check out. He'll be checked out by the trainer. Back into the game is Ryan John, number 4 for the Pheasants.
5:52 left to go. Inbound coming from underneath the Tigers' hoop. Lob pass up to the top. They'll get it right back into the right wing. That was Prue who thought about the three for a moment. Now will launch. Right wing three is no good. Rebound underneath. It was picked up by Folkers, but he just lost it. Slipped right out of his hand as he tried to go back up with the ball. And it'll be back in the hands of the Parker Pheasants now with 5:30 left to go in this opening half. No real urgency right now from the Pheasants. They're just going to keep going about their business, and a little bit of a rush shot that time from Lieberman off the front of the iron. He's been a little off target all evening long.
Now without O'Keefe in the lineup, that's their main defender, especially out on the point. Other players are going to have to pick up the slack for Parker.
Folkers has it at the top of the key, handing it off to Tucker. He'll get it back into the left wing. There's the shooter Morrison who gets it into the corner. Tucker's three no good. Tipped by Prue and out of bounds. It'll be Pheasants ball here with 4:54 left to go. We've got immediate timeout on the floor. Midway through this second quarter of action, White River leading Parker 31-17. We'll take a timeout and come back with more from the Boys B tournament on South Dakota Public Broadcasting. Back in Aberdeen, White River with the 31-17 lead over the Parker Pheasants in the opening rounds of this Boys B tournament. Coming to you live from the campus of Northern State University. I'm JJ Hardigan, he's Steve Toom. It'll be the Parker Pheasants with the ball out of the media timeout and getting it into the right wing, setting up the offense. Lieberman gets it to the top of the key. Three is good from Kelby Peters. Quick release there from Peters from the top of the key.
Design play coming out of the timeout, work to perfection for the Pheasants. That's what they needed. They still got some work to do, but that could be the spark that starts a comeback. Pheasants need a defensive stand.
Shot inside, and it's tough to slow down a 6'9" center in Justin Folkers, who's having himself a day here thus far, already in double figures, and now with 12 points in the first half.
Yeah, he averages 20 points per contest. One can understand why.
Lieberman going in strong, but again, his shot a little too strong. Tigers with the defensive rebound. They push it into the front court, off the glass, and good for Justin Prue.
Made that one look easy. As the Tigers just got up the court so very quickly.
15 points already on the day for Prue. You match that with 12 from Folkers. A pretty good 1-2 combo inside and out for this White River squad. Parker trying to answer. Floater off the rim, hangs and falls. Circus shot for Ryan John, the 6-foot senior.
We got a steal on the other end by Parker.
Here come the Pheasants as they try to get back in this game. A 3 will make it a 10-point game. 3:23 left to go. Ball's at the top of the key in the hands of Lieberman. He'll lob it into the left wing. Dangerous pass recovered by Anderson before it goes out of bounds. Now his pass tipped, and getting tripped up near the free throw line was Kelby Peters as he ran over Justin Folkers' outstretched shoe.
That's the first foul on the big man, the 6'9" senior. Only the 13th foul on White River. Here comes O'Keefe back into the game.
He wears those long sleeves on his legs. Supposedly they're supposed to be for circulation. You got to think that maybe it's just a little added protection for him on those legs. Trying to maybe just keep the knees clean, if you will. As that shot is no good. Tip back, no good. And recovered by the Tigers.
That's the first time Knock has missed underneath. That was that inside presence of White River, I think, affecting that shot. There's not just Folkers in there, but you got Young at 6'3" and Tucker at 6'4". Both those guys can get up in the air.
2:40 left to go. Shot no good. Rebounded by Folkers. His put back no good. Off the mark. Rebounded by Anderson. He's going to be huge for the Parker Pheasants if they want to get back in this one. With his ability to leap in the air, they're going to need him to go in and crash the boards with those big post players. And he's done a pretty good job here so far.
Yeah, they're going to have to keep White River off the boards.
Lieberman with a travel as he tried to stop and redirect himself on the right side of the paint.
Yeah, that's the kind of mistake that Parker cannot afford, because when you're down by double digits, you can't afford to have empty possessions. Still 2 minutes left to go. Plenty of time for Parker to make a run here, get it down to single digits. I think if you're Parker, that's what our goal number one. Let's cut that to single digits. Meanwhile, for White River, they want to extend that lead. We're looking to take maybe a little time off the clock here.
2 minutes even left to go in the opening period. So far, it's been all White River contact, and the shot is no good, but again, it'll send Justin Prue back to the free throw line.
That's on Landon Lieberman. Boy, you can hear that one over here, but again, good sportsmanship by Lieberman as he helped Prue back up to his feet.
Prue 2 for 2 from the free throw line thus far, already 15 points on the day. He's missed his 2 shots from the field the entire evening. That one rims around, and the shooter's touch gets it to go.
What's the over-under on that bounce? About 10?
Yeah, exactly.
My goodness, a heavy iron diet on that free throw attempt.
Second one on the way for Prue is good. And we've got a sub coming in for the shooter. Checking in for White River for the first time today, Tommy Wilcox, a 6'4" senior. And as they take a little bit of size and put it back on the floor, White River looks even more daunting here for this Parker squad, who's now down by 15.
Yeah, Wilcox, 6'4" senior, 5 points, 4 rebounds a game.
Anderson gives it back on the baseline. Parker not in any real hurry to get the offense going here, down by 15 as Anderson spins. Kicks it back outside. Lieberman for 3 is good, and the foul. Seen that a couple times already here on day 1 from the Boys B tournament. But now we'll have a chance for the rare 4-point play.
Morrison, foul number 2, commits the cardinal sin, fouling the jump shooter beyond the 3-point arc.
Let's see if he can convert on the 4-point play.
First points of the game for Lieberman.
And he gets it. All 4 points coming here on this possession, and Parker now with 10 makes from the field today in 26 tries. Ball at the top of the key. Free throw shooting will be continuing to be a problem for Parker today, though. They're just 4 of 6 from the stripe to start the day. White River, on the other hand, 7 of 8. That ball will go out of bounds and back into the hands of the Pheasants, who have a little momentum on their side here now.
Tucker might have been able to get to that ball, but he thought a Parker player touched it last, so he just let it go into the section vacated by the band. Of course, that's one of the things, if you charge into the stands, what the worst place to do it is where the band has been sitting, because all their instruments and musical stands are there.
Nice move from underneath that time for Cody Knock. He has been a pleasant surprise here in the first half for the Parker Pheasants.
And where would Parker be without the 8 points that Cody Knock has tallied so far?
It's a 9-point game here inside the Barnett Center. 3 on the way is good. Single-digit lead, no more. As White River extends it back out to a 12-point advantage now with 35 seconds left to go.
White River can just hurt you so many ways. Inside with the big 6'9" player, out on the wing with Crew and Morrison. They got those tall wing players at 6'4" with the long arms. They got pretty good size on them too. But this White River team just looking dominant.
Yeah, we talked about it at the onset of our broadcast. We felt like the upsets came in the early session. Might go a little bit more true to form in the brackets here in the evening session, but a nice move that time by Landon Lieberman. He's had a couple nice drives, and the shot is no good as our first half comes to an end here in Aberdeen. It is a 10-point game. Parker definitely not out of it as we get to our halftime break. We'll be back with more in a moment to recap our first half with stats and a whole lot more in our coverage of the Class B Boys State Basketball Tournament on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Free statewide broadcast of this South Dakota High School Sports Championship is underwritten by the thousands of members of the Friends of South Dakota Public Broadcasting, by Mid-Continent Communications, and by Dakota Bank.
Welcome back inside the Barnett Center as you see our behind the rim camera here at halftime, showing you all the sights from the Class B Boys State Basketball Tournament. Bottom of your screen you see the score. White River leading Parker 40-30. Steve, let's take a look at some of these first half stats.
Great shooting by the White River Tigers, including from beyond the three-point arc. Overall 14 of 25 for 56%. But also 56% from beyond the arc, 5 of 9. Parker not bad, 41% from the floor on 12 of 29 shooting, 3 of 7 from three-point land, good for 43%. White River 7 of 8 free throw line, 87%. Parker got there 5 times, knocked down 3 of them. Rebounding, the big edge to White River, +7 in that department. Turnovers 5 for the Tigers, only 2 turnovers so far. 8 assists for both teams in that first half of play, but White River just shooting lights out basketball. Justin Crew with 17 points and 6 rebounds to lead the way. 12 points, 5 rebounds for Justin Folker, 6 points for Justice Morrison on a couple of three-pointers, 4 points for Nicholas Young, 1 point on a free throw by Link Tucker. No bench points so far for White River. In fact, their starters played all but 2 minutes of that first half. Meanwhile, for Parker, they were led by their lone sub that's come in. That is Cody Knock. He had 8 points and 4 rebounds. 7 points for Zach O'Keefe. 6 for Landon Lieberman, all in the second quarter of play. 4 points, 5 rebounds for Zach Anderson. 3 points, 2 rebounds for Kelby Peters. 1 bucket on the day for Ryan John. So both teams have only gone really 1 deep off the bench, and Cody Knock leading the way, the reserve player for the Parker Pheasants. He has provided them with a big spark off the bench, but his team's still down by 10. And the other thing of concern for Parker is Zach O'Keefe. He had 7 points in the first quarter, and then, he kind of went to the sideline for a bit. He had a little bit of knee problems. He hadn't scored since he came back in. And the Pheasants are definitely going to need Zach O'Keefe to light it up to mount a comeback against this very strong Tiger basketball team.
The way I see it right now, Steve, this is a 6-shot game. Yes, it's a 10-point lead right now for White River, but if you look at the inside numbers, Parker has taken 4 more shots on the day than White River has and made 2 less. You get 6 different buckets to go Parker's way instead of White River to start the third quarter in the second half. This is all of a sudden maybe a 2-possession game, and you look at the way things go. Parker came on strong there towards the end, kept that second quarter real close, just a 2-point difference. It was White River, though, who got out to the strong start, winning the first quarter battle, I should say, 23-15. But if the game goes the way the second quarter did, this could be a much closer game.
Yep, only 2-point difference between the teams scoring. White River scored 2 more points than Parker in quarter number 2.
We will take a quick timeout. When we come back, we've got highlights from the first half coming your way as White River continues to battle Parker in this Class B Boys State Championship matchup. We'll be back with more from Aberdeen after this on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Free statewide broadcast of this South Dakota High School Championship event is brought to you in part by the thousands of members of the Friends of South Dakota Public Broadcasting, by Farmers Union Insurance, by SDN Communications, and by the Independent Insurance Agents of South Dakota.
Back in Aberdeen as both teams retake the floor to get set for the second half. Before we get you second half action, let's take a look back at an exciting first half, highlighted by mostly White River and their 10-point lead here into the intermission. But Steve, both teams actually playing pretty well, all things considered. White River just got out to that quicker start in the opening quarter.
Yeah, here you see the drive. This is the first bucket of the game, a fadeaway by Justin Prue. That shot's almost impossible to stop. That set the tone, and then Folker's inside. That was on an inbounds play, kind of caught the Pheasants napping there a little bit. Then you got Nicholas Young with the shot off the window. O'Keefe, that was the first bucket of the game, a steal and a layup for the Parker Pheasants. And Folker's drawing past Anderson, went over Peters, gets the bucket there. He had 10 points in the first quarter. Look at the pass down low here. Tough bucket in the paint by Zach Anderson. Nice setup there by O'Keefe, and then O'Keefe, the crossover, the step back. 3 on the way, and he scored. Scored all 7 of his points in quarter number 1. And then there's Folkers, just kept the ball over his head, just went over everybody. Decent bucket there. Nice pass. And Cody Knock has been a big, pleasant surprise to the Pheasants. 8 points coming off the bench. Watch the drive. Knock, waiting, opportunity, basket. Stood right outside the paint, made a move in when he saw the drive. And there's Justice Morrison knocking down the tray. 5 of 9 from beyond the arc. Drive here by Lieberman, blocked by Folkers. And White River's played pretty good defense, even though Parker scores 30. They average 60, so they're kind of on pace, as is White River. They score 79.5 a game, and they got 40 at halftime. But as Coach Dave Fuller said, hey, we can't let this turn into a high-scoring affair. If that's the case, we're going to be in trouble.
Well, and you said with about 2 minutes left to go in the second quarter, Steve, that this Parker Pheasants team needed to get back under 10 points. They made it a 10-point game before the halftime break, unable to make it a single-digit contest, but even so, they're definitely not out of it here at this point, and with a lot of basketball left to be played, this could turn around in a hurry.
Absolutely, and I think for Parker, the goal cut into that lead. You don't want to be down by double digits at the end of the third quarter. You've got to get that at least down to 4 or 5 points by the end of this quarter. Get momentum on your side. Parker, there you see Zach O'Keefe. They will start this third quarter with the basketball.
Well, and O'Keefe was just 2 of 11 from the floor in the first half. It was a frustrating start to him. He got bottled up by a lot of those big interior post players for the Tigers. Look for him to maybe get a little bit more involved with the offense and hopefully start knocking down a few more shots. O'Keefe definitely has gotten his fair share of looks so far. But again, those type of opportunities, you get those wide open layup looks and just goes too strong with it. As that shot is blocked underneath, and that's a good start for Parker.
Boy, Parker had heartbreak when they missed that last shot. Here's a 3.
Well, he thought it was good as he started trotting away after the release, but Kelby Peters a little off target. Layup is good underneath. Good defensive showing so far for Parker, and they're first making 3 tries to start this second half.
Zach Anderson with the bucket.
So now here's Prue and company.
Parker going man-to-man to start.
7:05 left to go in your third quarter of action, just underway after the halftime break. I'm JJ Hardigan. He's Steve Toon. Our 2 versus 7 matchup. As Prue gets it back at the top of the key. Steps back on O'Keefe. Nice little spin move of his own. That's been a fun battle to watch here so far today as Folkers drives inside, and his floater is good from 5 feet away.
Gives him 14 points and a nice move into the paint, driving from the wing, protecting the basketball, and then putting up the shot.
O'Keefe near the free throw line, got tangled up, kicks it back outside. Floater is good, and knocking that one down. Kelby Peters missed a 3 a moment ago, but responds with a nice little 8-foot jumper.
Well, Parker's within 8. You just have to keep chopping into that lead. You get a bucket, now you need a defensive stand.
Nice pass into the interior. Folkers didn't use the glass and came away with nothing.
Boy, that one was halfway down and somehow slipped out.
I know coaches talk about it at every level, but I feel like that's just one thing that has really been lost at the high school level of play over the last few years is the use of the backboard when you get inside in opportunities like that. Everybody wants to see the sweet swish as Folkers has his shot blocked, and it's O'Keefe who comes away with it.
Yeah, the ball was slapped out of his hands really before he could get the shot up. Let's see what O'Keefe can do.
He gets a screen near the top of the key, now picks up his dribble. And the jumper is good. Kelby Peters very much involved in the offense here to start this second half.
And look now, Parker's within 6.
Peters, 7 points now on the day. I think 6 of that has come here in this second half. Shot on the way from the right wing, no good. Anderson tipped it, ball's loose, and it'll end up in the hands of White River as Nicholas Young recovers. Folkers' jumper from the baseline is good. And under 5 minutes left to go now here in the third quarter. 36 for Parker, and they try to cut away at this lead some more. 8-point game as O'Keefe goes in. Gets that to go off the glass and good, and now a timeout called by the Pheasants. 4:48 left to go. We will stick with it here on the floor for the time being. And Steve, let's see if we can maybe get some updates from the other tournament sites across the state.
Yeah, checking in at the Class AA tournament. They just started the third quarter of play. Lincoln leading Watertown by a score of 22-11, and they're not yet going out West River. Watch this drive by O'Keefe. That was the shot he missed on the first possession of quarter number 3. That time they got it to go. And you know, it's still a 6-point lead for White River, but Parker's come out. They've started this third quarter much better than they started the first quarter of play.
Well, this Parker team definitely has some fight in them, and the way they're shooting here to start this second half, I think White River is going to have a nice little run here in this second half against Parker. So far, White River hasn't been able to get much offense going. Parker's defense has been much stronger, and their offense obviously is clicking. Taking a look at some of the numbers here in this third quarter alone, Parker, who was outscored in both the first and second quarter, has an 8-4 scoring advantage over White River in this third quarter so far. 4:35 left to go in the third. Prue drives inside, off balance shot, no good, but we'll have 2 free throws coming up as he drew some contact on the right side of the paint.
They're going to catch Anderson. And that is his first.
4:29 left to go. Still an immediate timeout to get to here in the quarters. The free throw is good. It looks like at the moment Link Tucker talking with one of the officials away from the shot, just trying to maybe make something known to some of the officials here this evening. Good open dialogue between coaches, players, and the officials. And got to really tip your cap to this officiating crew for all 3 games that we've seen so far. This has been a great start to the tournament. The less we have to talk about the officials, the better the job they probably are doing. Is that shot no good, and rebounded by the Tigers. They'll try to keep things going here with 4:06 left to go in this third quarter. Prue nearly lost it. The bottom of your screen, and now brings it up to the top of the key. Prue, drive inside on his own, gets a little separation from the defense, shot no good, and now a foul called on Prue. And it'll be Parker ball as we get to the media timeout with 3:53 left to go. Back with more from Aberdeen after this on South Dakota Public Broadcasting. Get a great look at our student sections here inside the Barnett Center on the campus of North Dakota State University. Our site for the next 3 days for your Class B Boys State Basketball Championships here on South Dakota Public Broadcasting. Steve, we have an interesting perspective here. We are sitting next to the Parker bench, and during the timeout, some of our microphones were able to catch what head coach Dave Fuller was saying to his squad. And he said point blank, hey, we are in this thing. If we play smart basketball, we have a fighting chance here. And there's just an unfortunate mistake, stepping out of bounds, Ryan John. But overall, I think Parker coming out in this second half has really made a statement saying just how much they want it, getting back in this game and at least staying within striking distance.
And that's the key for Parker in this third quarter. Stay within striking distance. Don't let White River extend that lead.
Shot is blocked underneath, and if I were to tell you that Folkers was on the receiving end of a block in this game, you'd probably think I was crazy, but he's swatted away, and now these Parker Pheasants have a chance to make some noise on the offensive side as well. O'Keefe lost the ball, tried to recover, it's still loose and picked up on the other end by Link Tucker, but ball will come right back to Parker as Link Tucker, I should say, has his pass go out of bounds.
Ryan John checking out for the Pheasants, and back in number 14, Cody Knock, the 6'2 junior, who led the team with 8 points in that first half.
Just over 3 minutes left to go in this third quarter of play. Haven't had a whole lot of stoppage with fouls. Both teams still looking good as far as the foul category is concerned. Good decision, but a little miscommunication. He was thinking O'Keefe was going to go inside, and instead the pass from Lieberman goes to nobody and straight out of bounds.
Yeah, just miscommunications there. Trying that backdoor play again. That was the same play they had first possession in this third quarter.
White River with the lead and the advantage of milking some clock here. No real rush. As they say, he traveled underneath, and Parker catches a break. They'll get the ball right back.
Good defensive play there by Cody Knock. Boy, talk about major plus off the bench for the Pheasants. It's been the play of number 14, Cody Knock.
See if maybe they go to him and try to keep the hot hand going as O'Keefe checks in. At the top of the key now, picks up his dribble. 3 from the top of the key is in and out, no good, and nobody around to get the rebound off the Kelby Peters miss. Yeah,
Lieberman tried to come in from the backside, but unfortunately for him, the ball spun around the rim and went off in a different direction.
Dribbling inside, now getting his shot swatted away again is Justin Folkers. And once again, that name, Cody Knock, in on the conversation.
Yeah, he can strip the ball before he even got the ball over his waist.
Nice move by O'Keefe, but his shot off the mark. He's been just a little strong with his shot all evening. Prue going with some nifty footwork there against Anderson. Now to the top of the key. Driving inside, Tucker kicks it back out. Minute 38 left to go. Prue inside, shot swatted away, and a foul. It's going to be called on Kelby Peters, I believe, here for the Pheasants. We should have some free throws coming up. Actually, they're going to get Zach Anderson there. Came in from the backside.
That's his second. This free throw there. White River's only scored 5 points in this quarter.
Look at the shot inside there, and Anderson was there, but looked like the majority of the contact actually came from Peters. As that one misses, and Cody Knock comes down with the rebound. Ball's loose. O'Keefe had a little trouble holding on to it. Now it's Anderson in front of everybody, but without numbers, he'll slow down. Takes the jumper now and gets it to fall.
Well, he just lulled him to sleep. Looked like he was going to pull it back outside, and then the quick spin around. Got a wide open mid-range jumper and took it. That's 8 now for Zach Anderson. Again, Parker doing what they have to do. They're hanging around. They're down by 5.
And the ball back in the hands of Parker again. 5-point game here, Steve, with a minute left to go. If they can make it a 1-possession game heading into the fourth quarter, one way or the other, I think that's a major accomplishment. And O'Keefe does just that. It's a 3-point game now with 50 ticks left to go here in the third quarter.
The interior for Parker, their interior defense is just been outstanding in this quarter.
Floater is no good. O'Keefe comes down with it, and Parker potentially could tie the game here on this possession.
Well, O'Keefe's holding up one finger, indicating they're going to play for the last shot, but the player is quick like O'Keefe. You never can tell.
O'Keefe is going to bring it back out, and they will fight for the last shot of the quarter. Ball's at the top of the key for the Parker Pheasants. Now O'Keefe drives inside, draws contact, and an offensive foul. And O'Keefe was ready to go inside there. He first checked to make sure that Justin Folkers was okay as he got up, and then looked for some help from the officials. Didn't get it, and the tough day continues for O'Keefe, who does have 9 points on the day, Steve, but now just 3 of 14 from the field.
Yeah, he has scored 4 points in this period. Now they're going to have to clean some perspiration off the court here. Some players hit the deck right under the basket. Our broadcast live, left on your screen. But now a big chance for White River to play for the final shot. Right now it's a one-possession game. You know, White River, boy, they would grab some momentum here if they can make it a two-possession game.
It would be huge to get a stop here before the end of the quarter. Ball goes out of bounds, and they will get that stop, albeit 1 second left to go here. So they'll have a chance for about a full court shot. And they're going to get a sub in. There's one of their big three-point shooters checking in, Ryan John. He's got some long-distance ability. They're going to be looking towards about the half-court line. John gets it. He throws up the Hail Mary. It's just off the mark. And that's how our third quarter comes to an end. White River, who's led the entire way, is outscored 12-5 in the third quarter. And it's a three-point game as we head into the fourth. Back with more from the Boys B tournament in a moment on South Dakota Public Broadcasting. Back inside the Barnett Center, you see the score at the bottom of the screen. Steve, the story of the third quarter. White River, 2 of 11 from the field as a team. They have been ice cold here in the second half.
Parker outscored them 12-5 in that third quarter. They're only down by 3. This is, the quarter couldn't have gone much better for Parker.
Yeah, they were 12 of 29 from the field in the first half. Were the Pheasants. They ended up making 6 of 11 shots, just over 50% in that third quarter. And the Tigers come out strong to start the frame.
Well, Parker got another steal in the paint. Again, the interior defense for Parker has been much better in the second half. They've blocked shots, they've stripped the ball away from the post players, and that time they just flat out stole the basketball. And now Parker, a little bit of a stall here, trying to open up the court for O'Keefe.
O'Keefe tried the circus shot, didn't get any contact, but does come away with the steal. Tigers haven't lost any confidence out there, though, although they've been a bit off balance, if you will, when getting some pressure from these Parker Pheasants. But really, that swagger hasn't gone away from the Tigers here in this game, as that floater's no good. With a major size advantage, all it takes is a quick turnaround on the offensive board. Couple of buckets for White River, and they could easily extend this lead. Right now, just a three-point game, though, here in Aberdeen.
White River's their 2 losses to St. Francis Indians, 79-7. They lost the double overtime to Sanborn Central Woonsocket at the Hanson Classic, 68-65.
Ball taken away by O'Keefe. Just one player to beat. He goes up and finishes it on the other end. We've got a 1-point game here in Aberdeen.
The defense for Parker has been sensational in the second half.
This battle between Prue and O'Keefe has been one of the better battles we've seen today. Prue puts it to the floor, has it taken out of his hands, and looks like, I believe, a foul will be on the Tigers here.
Oh, it's going to be on Parker. It's going to be on O'Keefe.
Yep, you're right.
That is his 3rd personal foul.
O'Keefe was trying to argue that Prue had lowered his shoulder as he went in, but doesn't get the call. Inbound will be coming from the baseline. Quick pass inside. The bucket's good, and the foul. Going to the line. Yeah, Nicholas Young.
Great inbounds play. And that time the interior defense broke down. He looked at head coach Eldon Marshall. Tucker inside. That foul will be on Peters. Funkers, and that's his third for Parker.
Free throw is good for Young. 6 minutes left to go here in this fourth quarter.
Very much anybody's game. And Parker, they're going to this high set offense here where they got three guys out near half court. They want to try to open up the court for Lieberman and O'Keefe.
O'Keefe will bring it back out around the perimeter, now to the top of the key. He stops near the free throw line. His jumper is good.
He is just so quick. I got to tell you, he's one of the fastest kids I've seen on a basketball court at any level for quite some time.
Prue with a nice behind-the-back dribble, tries to go around the defender, instead goes right through him and draws the foul.
That shot looked like it was going to be blocked, and I think the defender got a hand on it, and somehow it still went in.
5:22 left to go here in regulation. Prue at the line, the 5'10 senior. Puts up the right-handed release and knocks it in.
That was Cody Knock who got tagged with his second personal foul.
5:18 left to go here in regulation. Ball's in the right wing for the Parker Pheasants. They get it back to O'Keefe. He wants a screen, doesn't get it. Now works around the screen from Knock, goes in. Right-handed layup, nowhere near the iron, but he'll go to the line for two with 5:04 remaining here in the fourth quarter.
It's only the second foul on Justin Folkers. O'Keefe 72% at the free throw line this year.
O'Keefe will go to the strike. His release is good. Second attempt from the right-hander is off the backside of the iron, no good. Rebounded by Nicholas Young. And White River with the 4-point edge here with under 5 minutes left to go, trying to extend their lead. Pass nearly taken away, and now the throw inside. Left-handed layup is good for Justin Folkers with 4:40 left to go in this fourth quarter. 53-47.
Nice drive by Folkers.
Pass inside, a dangerous one from O'Keefe. He gets it right back. Three on the way is no good. O'Keefe wants it again. He and Prue have been having quite the head-to-head battle here, and now with 4:23 left to go, O'Keefe wipes his brow and goes back to work. He drives inside, floats it high off the glass, no good. Kept alive by Lieberman. O'Keefe the first to touch it, now kicks it outside.
O'Keefe's got those pink tennis shoes and those really weird-looking socks. Very unique.
Looks like camouflage for the Sox more than anything else there. With 3:55 to go, Lieberman inside. His shot is no good. And rebounded again by Link Tucker.
How many times has that happened for Parker today where they get a pretty decent look on a layup attempt in traffic, it just rolls off the rim.
53-47 your score. 3:35 left to go in regulation. White River with the lead and the ball. Ball's at the top of the key. Morrison tried to hand it off, and some contact on the play there. It'll be a 1-and-1 situation coming up. And O'Keefe arguing his case, but won't be changing the mind of the officials.
7-2.
And I believe we'll have a free throw coming up here before the media timeout with 3:24 left to go.
1-and-1 situation here. Justin Prue at the line. Only 2 of 5 here at the free throw line in the second half.
Right-hander's release is off the iron, no good. Anderson with the ball. 3:21 left to go in this fourth quarter. We still have one game to come your way from the Barnett Center. O'Keefe and company trying to come back in this one. Made it a 2-point game at one point as that pass nearly taken away. But White River has responded here in the fourth and battled back as we get to our media timeout. 3:05 left to go. Back with more in a moment. This is the Class B Boys Basketball State Tournament coverage on South Dakota Public Broadcasting. Back inside the Barnett Center with 3:05 left to go. I'm JJ Hardigan. He's Steve Toom, and they're having a lot of fun. It's been a good one here so far between White River and Parker. Parker made it close there for a minute, Steve, but these White River Tigers have really started to hunker down defensively and have been coming away with a few more makes on the offensive end. Prue would have liked to foul there, didn't get it, and it's back in the hands of the Pheasants.
Yeah, Parker avoided a bullet there as the Tigers got the steal off the inbounds.
2:48 left to go. Pass inside, shot blocked, ball loose, picked up by O'Keefe.
Oh, O'Keefe just gets to the ball lightning quick.
Some guys just have a nose for the basketball, as a lot of coaches around the region would tell you, but very few are able to get to the ball as quickly as O'Keefe. And I believe we're going to have a foul called on Parker here, and we'll have to see who this one is on. They're going to put it on number 14, Cody Knock, the 6'2 junior.
8-team foul on Parker, so we'll have the 1-and-1 at the other end of the court. Meanwhile, White River, they've only have 2-team fouls here in the second half.
53-47 your score. White River held in check there, was outscored 12-5 in the third. At the moment, they are outscoring Parker 8-5 here in the fourth. As the free throw is good on the other end of the floor for Justin Folkers. The 6'9 senior is having a pretty good day here out on the floor. One more point, and he's at 20 on the evening. He'll have to wait, though, as Knock comes down to the rebound after the miss. 54-47, 7-point game. 3 possessions at the moment.
Ton of time left for Parker.
O'Keefe trying to take this game in control on his own and lost the handle there, but a foul, that'll help his case a little bit. Blocking foul, and Parker will inbound it underneath their own hoop.
Justin Prue, foul number 3.
Pheasants, no real urgency here with just over 2 minutes to go as O'Keefe misses from the free throw line, and he is now 6 of 21 from the field today, shooting at just about 30%.
Now Parker's going to have to come up with a defensive stand here. They're down by 3 possessions. If they fall down by 4 possessions here with under 2 minutes to go, it's going to be really tough for Parker to come back.
Minute 30 left, or rather a minute 40 left to go here in regulation. Prue brings it back to the top of the key, and White River smelling victory here now as they go into a clock management time.
Yep, they're just going to make Parker come out, foul him.
Great presence on the court for the Tigers. No real urgency, and for the Pheasants, now it's time to foul. Somebody's got to go up and make a foul here as Prue gets attacked by Anderson, and Anderson will force him to the free throw line. But for Anderson, I believe that is his 3rd foul.
It is.
Probably not the one player that you would want, but now 4 of the 5 starters out on the floor for Parker have 3 or more fouls. The only player who really has one to give at the moment is Lieberman.
Well, that free throw was missed, so a chance here for Parker. That was tapped away from him.
Would have liked to see O'Keefe let everybody get in front of him offensively instead of taking it to the hoop himself. Instead, quick turnover, and now White River back in control here as a foul is called on Lieberman, and he picks up his 3rd.
And that will be, I think, the 10th team foul on Parker, and it is.
Well, and you could kind of hear in the background Dave Fuller, the head coach of the Parker Pheasants, saying, hey, the fouls are in favor of White River, 10-3 at this point. A little off balance in this second half with under a minute left to go. 55-47 your score.
We're going to get Ryan John back into the game. Anderson's going to check out.
Still one more game to come your way this evening as number 3 Langford takes on Gregory, the 6th seed in this tournament. And it looks like another quick foul on the floor here. Just the 4th on White River. And that'll go on Nicholas Young, as looks like White River wants to take a full timeout to talk things over.
And they do, and they've got the timeouts to burn. They still have 4 left, so Eldon Marshall wants to set up his defense. Get you an update here from the AA tournament in Sioux Falls. Fourth quarter score, about 4.5 minutes left to go. Lincoln leads Watertown 49-25.
Looking at some of these numbers here, Steve, and we'll get one more score in a moment, but Zach O'Keefe quietly has 16 points today, but is just 6 of 21 from the field. You got to wonder what he'd be able to do if he were able to make a few more of those layups. There's at least 4 that come to mind right now where he was about a foot away from the hoop, just too strong off the glass and unable to come away with anything. But he's pretty much the only player who's been able to put up big numbers offensively today against this White River squad. In fact, he's the only player for Parker right now who's in double figures. Somebody else is going to have to step up over the final minute, or else it looks like it might be a White River victory.
Yeah, they're going to have to start launching. Maybe not necessarily three-pointers right now, but they've got to get down court, spread the floor, and see if you can get somebody free for a 3. If not, you have to make decisions in a hurry. Look for a 3. If it's not there, try to drive to the basket, maybe free up somebody for a mid-range jumper.
O'Keefe will push it into the front court. He drives inside, is going to go all the way in for the layup himself. He's got 18 and a timeout called by Parker. I like the use of the timeout there if you're the Pheasants, although not a whole lot left to work with. White River with 4 timeouts left to go, and I believe now Parker will have just the 1. But even so, it's a 6-point game, 2-possession contest, quick stop on the other end, and you're right back in it. You get a look here at the replays. O'Keefe goes in strong. Had to try to avoid the contact and softly lays it off the glass for the nice finish.
Eldon Marshall had a smile on his face when his team came back to the bench. It's like, guys, you know he's going to drive the basketball if he's not going to take a three-pointer. And I think he was wanting Justin Volkers to come over there and maybe shut that off a little bit quicker, put off that angle to the basket. So there you look at O'Keefe. Again, struggling percentage-wise from the floor, but still has 18 points. Now the full court press.
Yeah, they're going to try to put a stop to the Tigers here in the backcourt. If nothing else, foul them just a second or two into it. Well, they aren't going to foul, actually. They're going to let him go, and now a decision to foul. Probably would have been better suited to foul him immediately there instead of allowing the 5 or so seconds to run off. But even so, they put a big man at the line, and a guy in Justin Volkers who doesn't have the best free throw percentages in the world to begin with.
Well, I'll take that.
Correction, actually, it'll be...
he's got 72%.
Yeah, he's 72. I was looking at Nicholas Young's numbers there. I beg your pardon. Young coming in at 56%. Volkers is actually a very good free throw shooter. 72% clip on the season. And again, he's one of their big scorers, averaging 20 points a game, and I believe now is at 20, and there he is.
Yep, Anderson's going to check out Ryan John in, and he's their best percentage free throw shooter at 72%.
Second one is good.
That's such a luxury when you got a 6'9" guy shooting over 70%. Oh, look out, that one's into the stands.
Won't be able to take home any souvenirs from the third row, but a nice kick nonetheless from Prue, or rather from his teammate, I should say there, Justice Morrison, to kick it out of play.
Was that good or wide right?
Hey, it went right over my head, so I'm calling it good. I might have to bring a helmet in here. Inbound coming from right in front of our spot. O'Keefe comes open. 3 on the way is in and out. John gets the rebound and a foul from behind. That ball was more than 3/4 down, Steven. O'Keefe can't believe it. To be honest with you, neither can I.
I'm just stunned at how far that one was in the basket before it rattled out. That foul was on the floor, only the 15th foul on White River.
Oh, another foul as O'Keefe went up for the 3. It's no good, but he'll have 3 free throws coming up, which is just as good.
Justin Prue just committed his 4th personal foul, and now O'Keefe goes to the line for 3. A cardinal mistake there. Again, you can't foul the jump shooter beyond the arc. You want to get in front of him, get a hand in his face. But you don't want to give him a chance to score 3 points with the clock stopped. And
O'Keefe is one of the best free throw shooters on this team. In fact, the best at 72% on the season. It's the one guy you didn't want to foul from beyond the arc. He's made 2 of them. Here's the 3rd. In and out, no good. 2 for 3 on the trip to the free throw line, and they're going to foul Justin Folkers, and down to the other end we go. His 21 points on the day, second most on the floor, only proved better at 22 points on the day.
Anderson just committed his 4th foul for Parker, so this is going to be a free throw shooting contest. Right now it's just a 2-possession game, but Folkers even makes just one of these, makes it a 3-possession game.
He's 5 of 6 from the stripe already. Make it 6 of 7. 7-point game at the moment. Another free throw, and it's a 4-possession contest. Or rather 3-possession, I should say, as that one is good. But things getting a little bit tougher here for Parker as the big man makes a couple more free throws. 8-point lead with 35 and 2/10 of a second left to go here for White River.
30-second timeout called by White River. Don't forget, you can purchase a DVD copy of the South Dakota High School Boys Basketball Championships by calling 1-800-456-0766. We're offering a 3-DVD set that features each of the games your team plays in. The DVD sets are $19.95 plus $5 for shipping and handling. Now, if you're a member of the Friends of South Dakota Public Broadcasting, the shipping is free. Call 1-800-456-0766. Log on to sdpb.org. Click on the shop button for your copy of our coverage of the boys basketball tournament.
59-51 here as Parker gets set to inbound it. They are going to need to do something quickly here. And when you've got a guard like O'Keefe, you can do a lot of things in a hurry. He's going to get it at the half-court line, wasting no time, goes all the way in. His shot hangs on the rim, and that's been the story of the day for the Parker Pheasants. Close, but no cigar. And down to the other end we go. O'Keefe now 7 of 23 from the field, 1 of 5 from three-point land, but somehow has managed to put together a 20-point day to go along with 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Just about 5 or 6 tries there near the iron that didn't fall his way here on the evening.
Well, looks like O'Keefe, I think, just fouled out of the game. Nope. Well, nope. That foul actually was on. I think it was on Ryan John.
O'Keefe did foul out. He is out of the game.
Okay, so he is done for the day. 20 points. What an effort.
Jaden Korthals, the 5'11 senior, will check in here in cleanup time as Anderson makes his way towards the sideline. Parker kind of understanding that this one's over here, at least for today. Shot no good off the iron. They're going to push it. John into the front court. Closing seconds of this one, down to 22 seconds left in regulation. Step back is on the way from Lieberman, and good, and a timeout called. 16 and 9/10 of a second. Hold the phone, not quite done yet. 6-point game with just under 17 left to play.
Yep, full timeout called here by the Parker Pheasants, and that was their last timeout. So let's check in at the AA tournament. About 2 minutes left to go. Lincoln in control there, 54-35 over Watertown there. Lieberman with his 9th point of the game. His points have all come in the even number quarters. Had 6 in the second quarter. That's his first points here in the second half. Meanwhile, White River, they got 3 timeouts left. 2-possession game. If you can get a steal here and a quick 3, if you're Parker, you're back in business, but you got to get that steal right away. If not, you got a foul and send the Tigers, a 61% free throw shooting team, to the line.
Well, here we go. Tigers will inbound it. It'll be Nicholas Young on the trigger, and they get it into the hands of Justin Folkers immediately. Parker was looking for a call, didn't get it, and back to the other end we go once more.
Coach Fuller wanted a travel call on the big man, thought he drug his pivot foot after he collected the basketball. And Folkers really just needs 1 of 2 free throws to maybe put this one out of reach.
15 and 2/10 of a second remain. That shot is no good. Second attempt coming up for Folkers. Right-handed release on the way is good.
Now it's a 3-possession game.
Bringing it into the front court, Lieberman stops at the top of the key, drives inside, kicks it back out. John's shot is no good. Rebounded by Folkers, and that should do it. John with a steal, but it's all over as the three will count at the buzzer. Makes it a little bit closer than the score might indicate, but White River does walk away with the 61-57 win. Both teams will shake hands at center court. We'll take a quick timeout, get you some stats from this one in a moment when we come back. Your final, White River advancing to the semifinals as Parker comes away on the losing end, 61-57. Back with more after this from the Barnett Center in Aberdeen on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Free statewide broadcast of this South Dakota High School Sports Championship is underwritten by the thousands of members of the Friends of South Dakota Public Broadcasting, by Mid-Continent Communications, and by Dakota Bank.
Back in Aberdeen, 3 games are in the books from day 1 of this Class B Boys State Basketball Tournament on South Dakota Public Broadcasting, and just going final a moment ago, White River, the number 2 seed in this tournament with a 61-57 win over the Parker Pheasants. Steve, let's take a look at some of these final numbers from this one as we wrap up our 3rd game of 4 here on Thursday.
Well, Parker shot pretty good for the game, 41%, but White River a little bit better, 19 of 40 for 47%. Both teams with 5 3-pointers. Big difference at the free throw line. White River 18 of 28 for 64%. Parker only got there 10 times, made 6, so that's a dozen more points than the charity stripe for the White River Tigers. Rebounding, Parker evened things up a little bit in that area, only got out rebounded by 2. Turnovers relatively even, 13-11, more turnovers for the Tigers. Individually for White River, Justin Folkers, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 22 points, 9 rebounds for Justin Prue, the only 2 Tigers in double figures. They were a heck of a 1-2 punch. 7 points for Nicholas Young, 6 points for Justice Morrison, all in the first half, 2 points. And 9 rebounds for Lincoln Tucker. No bench points today for White River. Meanwhile, Parker was led by Zach O'Keefe with 20 points. He was the only Pheasant in double figures. 9 for Landon Lieberman, 8 each for Cody Knock and for Zach Anderson. 7 points for Kelby Peters. 5 points, including that last 3-pointer at the buzzer, for Ryan John. And for Cody Knock, he gave him a big boost in the first half of play, but couldn't find the bucket in the second half of play. Parker gave themselves a chance, outscoring White River 12-5 in that third quarter, but White River outscores Parker 16-15 in the fourth. And so the Tigers moving on to the semifinals.
You don't want to say that one person could make an impact in this game for a team solely, but Zach O'Keefe on the day was the big name for Parker. 7 of 23, though, from the field, 20 points. Nobody else on his team got into double figures. You have to wonder if maybe a couple of those layups of his had gone in the first half and even into that third quarter, if this might have been a different game. You'll see him quite a bit on the highlights, though, and there he is again. O'Keefe going in for the finish. As you get your final at the bottom of the screen, 61-57. We'll take some highlights into the commercial break. When we come back, we'll get you set up for our final game of this boys' first day from the Class B tournament here in Aberdeen. Back with more in a moment on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
Free statewide broadcast of this South Dakota High School Championship event is brought to you in part by the thousands of members of the Friends of South Dakota Public Broadcasting, by Farmers Union Insurance, by SDN Communications, and by the Independent Insurance Agents of South Dakota.
Three, Connor Carlson. And now let's introduce the White River Tigers. Number 11, Russell Leader Charge. Number 14, Lucas Ironheart. Number 20, James Leader Charge. Number 22, Tommy Wilcox. Number 33, CJ Whitehat. Number 35, Jadis Morrison. And number 55, Kane Fairbanks. And now we will introduce the starters in alternating fashion. Starting at guard for Parker, number 1, Zach O'Keefe. Starting at guard for White River, number 5, Justin Prue. Starting at guard for Parker, number 22, Landon Lieberman. And starting at guard for White River, number 30, Justice Morrison. Starting at forward for Parker, number 4, Ryan John. And starting for White River, number 10, Link Tucker. Starting at forward for Parker, number 20, Kelby Peters. And for White River, number 45, Nicholas Young. Starting at forward for Parker, number 24, Zach Anderson. And starting at center for White River, number 50, Justin Folkers. The Parker Pheasants assistant coach, Corey Minarik. Head coach, Dave Fuller. And for White River, assistant coach, Jared Bowman. Head coach, Eldon Marshall. Officials for tonight's contest, Royce Wurtzer, Mark Logan, and Tim Steinwan. Let's get ready for some basketball. Here we go.
There's your starting lineups for tonight's matchup as we set the stage for this 2 versus 7 game. It's White River, the 2 seed, coming in with their 21-2 record on the year against number 7 Parker, who enters with their 17-6 mark. And as we've seen in our first 2 games, Steve, regular season totals don't necessarily matter once you get inside the Barnett Center here in March. It all depends on what you're able to do against your opponent here tonight.
White River does have the size advantage. Talking to Coach Fuller, says we don't want this to turn into a track meet. We need this score in the 40s and 50s. Eldon Marshall.
Thank you, Warner Pep Band. Tonight's opening session, the first game will be between the Region 5 champs, the Parker Pheasants, and the Region 7 champs, White River Tigers. First, let's introduce the cheerleaders for the Parker Pheasants. Blair Reynolds, Lindsay Jones, Catherine Lieber, Danny Geis, Sammy Joe Menning, and Crystal Cook. The Pheasants are coached by Tiffany Weiler. And now the cheerleaders for the White River Tigers. Macy Farmer, Allison Green, Vanessa Marshall, Cassie Marshall, and Allison McBride. The Tigers are coached by Kayla Brown. And now let's introduce the Parker Pheasants. Number 2, Isaac Decker. Number 5, Shane Caston. Number 10, Chase McKinney. Number 12, Jaden Korthals. Number 14, Cody Knock. Number 30, Nathan Dahl. Number 33, Trey Christensen. And number 20,
just 3.5 assists per game. And the starting lineup for the Parker Pheasants has Ryan John at a forward, Zach Anderson, the junior, at a forward, Kelby Peters. His play will be key tonight. He's just a sophomore, along with Zach O'Keefe and Landon Lieberman, Bill Lieberman's son, who used to be the basketball coach. His son's a sophomore, and he's going to be a good one. Already a standout player as a sophomore at 13 points a game. Their opponent, well, everybody knows about the White River Tigers. This is their 10th year in a row at the tournament.
Yeah, and this is going to be kind of an interesting matchup. But the first 2 games there was really anybody's bet. You got to look at the 2 teams here at the top in White River and Langford, the 2 and 3 seeds in this tournament coming up tonight. I think those 2 teams have a real chance to win. As we look at this White River squad here on our Google Earth images and zooming in on the high school, you get a great view from up top. 21-2 overall on the season. Eldon Marshall, their head coach, they'll be wearing their purple and gold uniforms tonight. Justin Prue, 15.5 points per game this season. He's their big offensive leader. Nicholas Young inside, a great rebounder for this squad. Link Tucker, who averages just under 6 assists per game, is going to be facilitating this team. Tell you what, so this is about as balanced a squad in their starting 5 as you will find in this tournament. And the White River Tigers are ready to go, and you see they've got some size there inside as well. Link Tucker, a 6'4 senior, along with the 6'3 forward, and Nicholas Young, just a junior. Justin Folkers, a 6'9 senior, along with the 2 guards, Justin Prue and Justice Morrison. Some great lineups here today. Got to give the size advantage to White River, though, as they get set to take on Parker in our 2 versus 7 matchup. We've done our job. Now it's time to turn it over to our public address announcer for today's starting lineups.
South Dakota High School Activities Association welcomes you to the session of the State B Boys High School Basketball Tournament. The South Dakota High School Activities Association, along with its corporate partners, Sanford Health, First Premier Bank Card, Farmers Union Insurance Agency, Billion Automotive, and the South Dakota Army National Guard wish the best of luck to all teams participating in these State B Boys Basketball Tournament games. Good sportsmanship is vital to all levels of athletics. That is why the South Dakota High School Activities Association has sponsored a statewide effort to promote good sportsmanship in our schools. Good sportsmanship stresses positive values that are so important in the development of our leaders of tomorrow. You can set an example by displaying good sportsmanship during these state tournament games. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise for the playing of our national anthem? This evening, the national anthem will be played by the Warner High School Pep Band under the direction of Sharon Schwann.
He knows he's got a size advantage, plus his team has some great quickness as well.
The tip will go to the Tigers in white, and we are off and running here inside the Barnett Center on Northern State University's campus. I'm JJ Hardigan. He's Steve Toom. 4 quarters of basketball coming your way between these two squads. Parker in the blue uniforms tonight with the white and blue trim. And White River in their white uniforms with purple letters and yellow trim. And they started off on the right foot. A jumper there for Justin Prue, the 5'10 senior. And it's White River who leads early on, 2-0.
Great elevation on the jump shot there by Prue, who's signed to play basketball at Mount Marty.
Parker will swing it around the perimeter. There's a definite size advantage today for White River, but this Parker squad, very athletic.
O'Keefe changed his mind at mid-jump there as Folkers came out to guard him on the switch. Folkers about a foot height advantage, turnover.
That pass tipped away and into the hands of Prue, who drives inside the lane and now picks up his dribble. That pass off the fingertips of his teammate there. Nicholas Young recovers. And now foul, I believe, called away from the basketball. We'll have to see who this one's on.
This one's going to be on Landon Lieberman, the 5'10 sophomore.
Lieberman listed as a guard. Where's number 22? The foul on the ground. They get the quick inbound inside and the turnaround for Justin Folkers. Big 6'9 senior, I should say, with his first points of the tournament.
Folkers, one of the best big men in the state. Look at the speed.
Shot no good underneath, though, and rebounded by Justin Prue. He'll push it into the front court, going all the way in. Tries the bounce pass inside, and that into the hands again of Nicholas Young. 4 straight points for Young, and just like that, White River leading 6-0.
Well, this is not the start that the Parker Pheasants wanted. They'll need O'Keefe to score.
Shot high off the glass is in and out, no good. Another one and done here as the White River Tigers get back to work. Ball taken away, though, and going coast to coast is O'Keefe for the right-handed layup.
And we got a quick timeout called by the Parker Pheasants as O'Keefe comes up with a big steal and a desperately needed bucket for the Parker Pheasants. O'Keefe is just so lightning quick. This is a young man that's looking to play basketball at the next level. Not signed with anybody yet, but he's listed at 5'9", and he's a small guy. But I tell you what, at the college level, you need that kind of speed to play. That was a great open court steal by Zach O'Keefe.
Well, just a bit of a slow start here in the early goings for Parker. And as we take a look at the team numbers here in the early going, Parker just 1 of 3 from the field. But that matters very little if they can turn it around here with a couple nice defensive stands. It's just a 2-possession game right now. And still a lot of time in here as both of these teams try to maybe shake off some early jitters, Steve. It seemed like early on in the afternoon session, you could just feel the energy inside this building with how loud the crowd was, how many people are in the crowd. And you got to wonder if maybe some of these young men are just getting acclimated to playing in front of such a large audience.
You're watching a production of South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
This high school activities championship event is conducted under the auspices of the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
And a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome inside the Barnett Center here in Aberdeen, South Dakota. We come to you live from the campus of Northern State University in our site for the next 3 days as we bring you the Boys B Tournament here on South Dakota Public Broadcasting. I'm JJ Hardigan, he's Steve Toom. We hope you're ready for a wild one. We've already had 2 exciting finishes and we haven't even gotten through our first day of the tournament yet. To kick it off, it was number 1 Faith taking on Hitchcock-Tulare, the number 8 team in this entire tournament. And it's the lower seed, Hitchcock-Tulare, to come up with the win, 54-40, in what was a major surprise to start the day. You see some of the scoring leaders on the score there, or on the board there. But Steve, as we look at everything, that Hitchcock-Tulare team really came out with a game plan in mind, and they executed it to perfection against a Faith team that honestly was surprised here on day one.
Yeah, Faith held far below their scoring average, averaging 68, only scored 40, and it was the pace of the game dictated by the Patriot guards. That was key for the Hitchcock-Tulare victory. Our second game of the day was simply an epic game.
Absolutely. You had Wolsey-Wessington coming into it, number 4 in this tournament, taking on number 5, Hanson. And it came down to the wire, but as you see there, the Beavers of Hanson coming away with a 1-point victory. What a performance from Taylor Nichols. A double-double, nearly had a 20-20 game, 28 points, 18 rebounds. He was a force to be reckoned with inside.
And when Lorenzo Williams fouled out, that spelled trouble for the Warbirds. So that's what happened this afternoon. Let's move on to tonight. Our first matchup has the Parker Pheasants coming in at the 7th seed, taking on the Tigers of White River. They're the number 2 seed in this tournament. They've only lost twice all year. The Parker Pheasants have Dave Fuller back at the helm after a 13-year absence. He took a hiatus. He led them to the tourney the last time they were here, and that was in 1998. The Parker Pheasants, there you see in the southeast part of the state, play a tough schedule. They ended up 17-6 on the regular season, and they are led by Zach O'Keefe and Zach Anderson. O'Keefe actually leads them in scoring at 19 points per game. Anderson, their main rebounder, at 7 points a game, and O'Keefe, who's looking to play college basketball, hasn't signed yet, but he also averaged